So we can't do much else with that. So I'm going to wash the brush out once more. And then get the other wash that we're going to be using, which is, again, Army Painter wash. Give it a good shake. Green tone. And we'll just get some of this on the palette, and you may be surprised to find out that Medusa's getting this all over the snaky bit. Oh yeah, now this is where we want it to get into the crevices. Well, this we do wash because we want it to get into the crevices, but we want to make sure that it's in all the crevices on the tail, especially the underside of the tail. It will give it much more depth. And I've noticed that I've absolutely forgotten and missed parts of this round there. So I can't do anything more with it yet, but I will come back and do more when this is actually dried. But then I'll have to go over it once again with more wash. So it's going to be like a bit of a backwards and forwards with it. But here, as I say, we don't want it pooling and staining and getting that coffee stain effect to flat areas. That's not what we're looking for. Although, if we do get a little bit, we can, at this stage, we can rectify it by putting lighter colours over the top. But if we can avoid doing that in the first place, we don't need to. And it's an easy thing to avoid, to be honest. We just, as I say, rinse the brush off and then wick up any pooled area. Where's the other thing? I'm going to see if there's any of this usable. A little bit there. Going in here, so we don't want it to be really bright green. Yeah, with any amount of luck. And we'll do that, we'll leave it at that. I will, when it's dry, come back and rewash this part. And then hopefully it will look okay. But there, yeah, that's what we have so far with this. And once again, we're going to have to let it dry and come back to it when it is. Right, we're back, and these have dried up quite a bit, so let's move these away slightly and then we can get on with improving our painting. And here we go. Gorgon hide is what we're going to be using. So let's pop a little bit of this on there. Now I am still waiting for my delivery of the wet palette stuff. So until that comes, I can't do much else. But that's going to come sometime this afternoon. Fingers crossed. So what I'm going to do while I'm waiting for it is just use our palette, sorry, CD palette. I'm just going to get some of this on here and then we'll go over the hair. And what we're trying to do is colour the hair white. Now some areas of this hair is not going to be white, it's going to be like this blue colour. And I'm going to try my best not to hit anywhere that I don't want this colour. If I get this, like, what's it called? This thing on red, tiara kind of thing, I'm not too worried because I've not painted that properly yet, so I'm not too worried. But I don't want to get it on the skin, I don't want to get it anywhere else. And the fact that she has her hands actually in her hair as the pose makes it just that little bit difficult to avoid, but we'll try our best, There we go. Now we're trying to make sure that we colour her rather than anything else. It's always fun when you get something like this where everything is so tightly connected and there's not much room for manoeuvre, and then trying to paint it. In fact, what I think I might do, rather than stick with the blue, is actually paint the whole hair in this colour. I think it's going to make it easier for me to do this, to be honest. Itchy nose. So if we do it like this, we can add, hopefully, the shadows in a different way. But I want the hair to look painted, and I'm struggling at the moment to try and get it done. Because there's quite a bit of detail around the hair. I'm hoping you can see what I'm looking at here. There we go, we have an ear there. We have throat and everything on this side. We have an arm raised. This part is her. That is her. Doing it this way hopefully gives you a better view of what I'm trying to do. Yeah. As I say, I'm not too bothered about these, what you call it, the joint lines on the hair here, because for some strange reason they had it so that this bit of hair is a separate piece to that bit of hair, and I had to glue that bit onto that bit, and that's what happened there. But as I say, I'm not too fussed about it because it's not, what you call it, oh dear, what am I trying to say here? They're not really good enough sculpts anyway to be done as like display models. They're just playing pieces. So that's all they're being treated as. and you still get that hint of blue in the hair anyway, so that's going to help give shadows. So that's what we've done so far with that. Here, as I said earlier, yeah, so what I was saying, here I said we're going to be painting her blindfold in a different colour, which we are. So I'm going to paint it first with this, and then it's going to take the pale colour paint that I'm using much better. There we are. That's that done. Okay, so next what I want is matte black. That's all spurted out, but it won't do the job. Exactly, near enough exactly what I want. So I'm going to take some of this, pop it in there, take some of this white, and quite literally mix it down so it's not pure black. I don't want it bluish, I don't want it really obvious grey. And here we're going to just go over individual muscles, raised areas. Pick out, as I say, raised areas, muscles, that kind of thing. Add a little bit of black every now and again if you want to. Oops. In fact, it might be better doing this in black and then going over with the grey as a highlight. It's not easy to see these either. But just work our way through. I'm going to the blue should be the highlight really, but I'm not happy with the way it's looking, which is why I'm changing it slightly. So I think, you know what, beggar it, I'm going to just paint everything, paint her all black, and then I can pick up highlighting a little bit later with this. It was a what do you call it? I tried something, it didn't work how I wanted it to, so will abandon what I tried and we will come back to it later on. Now bear in mind, this is the first Mini I've painted in a long time, and I mean a long time, and it's just a case of trying to get back into the swing of things. When I say this isn't the first Mini, I mean these Minis that we're painting in this are the first Minis. Let's zoom out a touch because it's a bit of a bigger model and we're not doing as much detail as I was expecting to do, so I'll zoom out so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. And basically all it is I'm doing is just repainting over what we did yesterday. And getting rid of this blue that is very distracting, and I think it's distracting more because the wash that I put over is quite glossy. So if I do it like this instead of how I was intending on doing it, I was intending for the wash to make it look, or to give the blue effect, but it unfortunately didn't work that way. It just made it very glossy and very blue. So the effect I was looking for was lost. So let's just correct what we did yesterday. Over all of these models. Now the little models, little fellows, we don't need to do this on it, so I'm ignoring those for the time being. Okay, so that's them about done. A few little areas that we just need to make sure we've covered, and that's that. That will do fine. That's all we really need from there. So now we're looking at these, and we just need to get the what's the word I'm looking for, the highlight colours. I'm just looking for the colours that I need, and I've found them. So the first colour we're going to be using is to highlight the green on the trousers that we're wearing, and I'll be using Mouldy Clothes for that. Quite an interesting name for a paint colour. And for once I don't have to stick a pin in it. So we'll just again go over areas where we're looking for the lights to have hit. Now I know I should really do a what do you call it? I really should do a tail for this fella, but I may do yet. You never know. You never know. I may do. I just want to get these painted, so hopefully I may be able to get them used tonight when we go up to Steve and Nita's. I don't think Anita will be playing, but Steve might not yet, but I'm going to take it off at show him anyway, what they have. You might find it a fun, silly little game. There we are, that's him done. And now this fella. Now we have here, he's got these little braces on it. There we go. And a kind of a sash type of thing there. go along the ridge of his trousers. And we go over the shoulder, make it brighter there, and then fade it out as it goes into more shadowy areas. That's what we're looking for. And we're not looking for good coverage, as long as there's any highlights or any high points on the outfit, on the model rather. We just make sure that there's a little bit of this colour there, just to show a difference in, for want of a better word, elevation. We can also add kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for, texture to this by just doing it in little dots here and there, just to make it look as though it is material. And that's why I said I'm not looking for good coverage. If it looks a bit patchy and a bit spotty, it looks as though it's worn, it looks as though it's texture. As you can see there, I'm just running little dots, stippling the paint on rather than actually stroking or making strokes with the paint. Again, at the top, putting more stroke technique on it so that it makes it a lot paler. And we'll go into white here, or this paler colour. It's not white, as I say, it's like a chewing gum grey, and that will make it a little bit paler. Just to add a few more points of interest to it. There we go. That's all we really need to do with this fella. We don't need to do much at all. Again, stippling paint on. I'm going to do this separate and that's different colour as well.